Seen so much people going like 100 wins and 200 losses in this video. I'm going to be helping you guys kind of avoid doing that. But before I start, please make sure to like and subscribe. We are so close to 4.5k subs. Discord.gg/batslc for cool stuff, and let's get right into it. Alright, the first section will be on build hopping. So basically what this means is constantly changing builds, whether it be stats, weapon, or even element. There's two types of players that fall under this category. First, the guy who just constantly changes builds and he's just decent at everything. If you're this guy, you can get good and reach a decently high elo, but unless you dedicate a lot of time to the game, you won't really be that much better than the average player. Like I would say your max would probably be like 100k. This is just because you're so at everything. So if one kid just spends the entirety of his type's sole time playing Kendo and you queue him and you've been playing Kendo, Hakuda, Speed, whatever, the same amount of time, he's probably gonna beat you on Kendo and you won't be able to beat him on anything, if that makes sense. The second guy is the person who's really good at one skill tree and plays other skill trees from time to time. Being this guy isn't the worst thing, but you should not be queuing off your main build when you're at a certain elo. So for me, that would be like 150k to 200k because everybody at this elo is just a keto spammer, and if I queue on another build, I'm just gonna lose, right? And some people take this game super seriously, so every single person you're going to be queuing is either a keto spammer, like I said before, who runs 24/7, or the super sweaty smurf account who hasn't seen outside his room since Typesol dropped. But TLDR, stick to one good build while you're climbing rank. You can still deviate from time to time, but once you reach a certain elo, for me that's like 200k, 300k I would say, everyone you queue will be a super sweat. Oh, and before we wrap up this category, I want to mention you changing weapons and elements isn't as significant as changing stats. So if I like play Speed and I hop off Benihime, I'll still be fine, but like stick to a specific skill tree. So like if a new Shikai weapon drops, you can still roll for it and you'll probably do fine, but stick to one skill tree as your main while you're climbing ranked. Style that complements your build will heavily impact how good you do while playing. This is a general thing for most games, I'm pretty sure, and it applies to Typesol as well, of course. So for example, on Kendo and Speed, I would say playing aggressive would benefit you a lot more because the moves on each skill tree are designed to put pressure onto enemies. So like flower passes, specter step, and waterfall dance, like it does a lot of posture as well, and a lot of the moves are of course close range and they have a ton of gap closers. While on Keto and Hakuda, playing passive would benefit you a lot more as you have quite a bit of range moves. Like every single Keto skill tree can literally just spam all their projectiles and win the match instantly. So obviously for Keto it just doesn't make sense engaging. For Hakuda it's a bit different because I noticed a lot of high elo Hakuda players wait for you to try and engage them, and then they pop like a hyper armor combo starter, and for some reason those moves have broken ass hitboxes, so it just lands. But generally speaking, I feel like they just play passive a lot more, defend, and then when you're about to get close, they'll pop like a combo starter move, get you in an air, and pop an air combo. For adding on weapons and elements, you'll add even more layers to this section, and I'll give you guys some quick examples for this. So on Hakuda, Ergante was pretty overpowered for a good while due to the moves complementing Hakuda's playstyle, with a good counter that lets you punish aggressive players and solid combo extenders. Though at the same time for other builds like Sekido, I see people running the balance, so while they unload their entire moveset onto you, they're gaining order stacks, and then eventually they'll just be able to gain a free bar of HP and some damage buffs onto their build, and that makes Quincy Keto builds 10 times more annoying to fight. Speed and Kendo has its own counterparts. I know death dealing's pretty busted on Speed, on Kendo, and I know like Benihime, for example, you guys have seen me use on my Speed build, which is pretty busted. So honestly, you can kind of just experiment. I know there's a bunch of comments that are busted. Shadow's pretty meta right now on just about everything. So just by experimenting and seeing what's good, you guys will be able to find out what's actually good on your build, and you should be able to abuse that. Next section. Might be a controversial section, but I feel like at a certain point, once you start playing the game too much, you're gonna end up losing a lot and you're gonna end up raging at the game. If you keep playing at this state, you're just gonna end up losing a whole lot more because when you're angry, you just don't play as well. This is a mistake that I know a lot of people make, and even I've made myself. I would highly recommend, notice yourself just getting really pissed off and getting really mad and you just keep on playing, just hop off the game and do something else, bro. Like even like just go outside, go prog or something, I don't know, just do literally anything else, because if you play at this state, what's gonna happen is you're just gonna keep playing and keep losing, and you're just gonna gain a lot more losses. And this is how I would bet a lot of people probably do have a lot of their losses. Like if you lose to a player with like 200 losses, I guarantee you they just got really tilted one time. they kept playing like shit because they were angry and they just kept losing more and more. This is a very common mistake that I know happens in the gaming community, not even in Type Soul. So no matter what game you're playing, guys, I would highly recommend, if you don't want to lose anymore, just don't play when you're pissed off. Like, if you're pissed off, go do something else, go outside, go touch grass or something. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this section short. Let's move on to the next one. Maxing is an often overlooked aspect of the game, and what this essentially refers to is making sure every single part of your build is maxed out. So for example, make sure you're using a true slot, because when you're queuing past 80k to like 100k elo, at this point 99% of the people you go up against will be most likely running a build with a true variant, and not having one is a pretty big disadvantage, as the buffs can 100% end up deciding the winner of a fight. So if you're good enough, you can definitely bypass this. Like, I've beaten people at like 150k elo with like a normal visor, but even if you are like a lot better than somebody, at a certain point, not having a true variant is just going to end up being a very big crutch that you will not be able to bear. Secondly, armor. This is one of the most important and least talked about aspects of the game. Make sure every single armor category on your build is filled. Getting the best equipment is super tedious because you gotta farm bosses, but even running basic legendary stuff you get off ranked will immensely help you. Like the extra posture, Ryasu regen, HP, etc. can easily make the difference in a super close fight. And I know this all too well as a speed user because my Ryasu used to always run out, so I tried my best to like min-max Ryasu. So on my main build, I have a ton of Ryasu equipment. I even have like the diagram thing from the Setro code. I got Ryasu regen variant on my visor, and make sure the equipment you get is also tailored to your build and it complements your build. So for example, on Kendo or Hakuda, I would definitely recommend getting high posture because you're going to be blocking and getting up close a lot more. And on speed and Kido, I would definitely recommend getting higher Ryasu because the Ryasu drain on those skill trees is actually insane. I might make a completely different video just detailing how to min-max posture, or how to min-max your build generally, and how to just get like the perfect equipment for every single build. If you guys are interested in that, make sure to comment below. And yeah, that's it for this section. Final and most obvious reason for why you probably aren't as good as somebody else at this game and why you keep losing is just because you don't play as much as them. That's kind of just how life works, right? If you don't do something as much as somebody else, chances are you're probably going to be a lot worse at them at it. This isn't always a really negative thing, right? Just like play the game for fun. But if you do want to hit like lower master or like top elo, you do have to dedicate like hours of this game. Like I know in Deep Woken, I don't know much of the top Type Soul players, but I know a lot of the top Deep Woken players that meant to be on the game at 5 AM. Like Chapter or Lancelot, I wake up and I see those people in VC at like 5 AM at 3 AM freaking ganking. So generally speaking, obviously you don't have to play the game till like 5 AM, but if you do want to get better, just like add an extra hour or two a day to playing the game. Just hop on ranked, but like don't stress over it. It's just a game and it's probably gonna die in like a year or two. So yeah, anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.